It's crazy to me that men who date teenagers still have careers and keep having kids. This man, my God. So, okay, first of all, the fact that somehow the Me Too movement did not hit the musician world, except for one, this man. This man, as far as I know, is the only one who's been held accountable for dating teenagers. By dating, I mean graping, grooming, impregnating, and of course, because he's a black man. But this man has faced no consequences, is still being worshipped. Now he's having another kid, and they have the audacity to frame this man as a good dad. Look at this headline. So this came across my feed, and I made the mistake of just kind of looking into it more and more. And y'all, I was in a 2-hour rabbit hole of how much this dude sucks. Sorry, you can probably hear French children on their way to school. That's what that noise is. I'm not downplaying R. Kelly at all. But I'm just drawing attention to the fact that white men who do the same thing are still worshipped, much less haven't faced any consequences. The more children you have, the more laissez-faire you get. Yeah, sure, when you don't raise those kids, none of these men even raise these children. And then they're just great dad. This dude is about to die, and he had another one. And even still, wait until I go into this. Even at his old ass age, he still won't stay home and parent that kid. I'm going to go into all these dudes later. This dude is still worshipped. King of rock and roll. Even though he was a P-E-D-O. This dude still worship him. Still has a career. This dude. Even this dude. But let's focus on this dude right now. And let me know in the comments which one of those dudes I just named you want to hear about the most. Because this stuff is very time consuming. Because all of them have such problematic pasts. So before we get into how much Mick Jagger sucks as a father, like most famous men, and most men in general, because so many men want a legacy, want the social capital from being fathers, but actually don't want to do any work when it comes to parenting. Just want the credit for it. But yeah, I will die on that hill. Most fathers are terrible. I know this because I know really great fathers who are very involved. I know they're capable. And when you see someone doing it right, you can't unsee it. You see how capable men are at being really great parents? You can't unsee that. Yeah, most men suck at parenthood. And it comes down to entitlement and selfishness and misogyny. So Mick Jagger had BDSM flavored schmegs. Okay, we'll call it that, I guess. When you're 30-something, I don't think doing this with the 17-year-old would be schmegs, but okay. Now, before I get into how much this man sucks as a father, it just sounds like another man who uses women, exploits women, ruins women's lives, just because he wants to. Because it seems fun for him. He can brag about having schmegs with 4,000 women. Come on. Anyway, one of those women was 15. So, you may be like, well, 17's not so bad. 15's bad. 17's bad. 15? Come on, bro. I hate that the Daily Mail is something that I source sometimes. Sometimes they're the only ones who give they give details I can't find in any other publication. But then the framing of it is always awful, so I have to kind of reframe when I show you all. So this beautiful woman was 15, 2 years under the age of consent when they hooked up. He was 33. I'm sorry, I should not say hook up. I mean, when she was graped. He never asked her how old she was. Honestly, it sounds like she accidentally told this story, slipped out, and I think she's trying to protect her career, or maybe she's just in denial. I'm not sure. But I never try to judge women who talk about their own assault this way, because I have certainly excused the behavior of men so much. Sometimes to protect myself and my career, and other times just out of my own denial. So please don't come in my comments and be mean to her. Not only is Mick Jagger a creep, Keith Richards is staring at her when she woke up. The whole band is which doesn't surprise me, by the way. One of their songs was Stray Cat Blues, and originally it says, I can see you're 15 years old. No, I don't want your ID. You look so restless and you're so far from home, but it's no hanging matter. It's no capital crime. And then look at this. The time they were on tour in 69, Jagger reduced the age in the lyrics to 13. And so you're only 13. I bet your mama don't know that you scratch like that. I bet she don't know that you can bite like that. Any band that sings this song, I don't trust anyone who will co-sign lyrics like this. He's been telling themselves, y'all. They telling themselves all the time. And we're just like, don't see it. So look at what they say here. They call Ray Dawn the B-list actress. That was very intentional, y'all. Insisted that Jagger should not be vilified because their fling took place in a different era to today's Me Too culture. In fact, the only reason the story's out is because she accidentally blurted it out on a podcast and then kind of was backtracking. And again, I understand why she may feel the need to do this. She says, I feel incredibly bad about it. It's me and my big mouth. And look, Sir Mick declined to comment. Y'all, does that mean he's been like knighted by the queen or some crap? I'm too lazy to look it up. So many of these men who are awful are like, sir, like rubbing elbows with the queen. Which I guess makes sense since she loved her like little pedo son, and like totally colonized the world. Anyway, feisty and at times embarrassingly honest about why she chose to have underage schmegs with a rock icon. Ray Dawn insists the fling was consensual. I want y'all to pay attention every time the media frames a story, especially if it's a man, particularly a white man, abusing, raping, doing anything violent, doing anything problematic. She says her own family would be disgusted by her decision to go public and believes Jagger himself will be angry and devastated. He's probably gonna lose his because I was a minor. He's going to be so mad at me. So again, don't be mad at her. There's consequences to her accidentally leaking this information in a podcast. Mick was very beautiful, very, very shy, and very self-absorbed. He wasn't that much older than me in my brain. He was 33. He didn't make me do anything I didn't want to do, but he was very vain and always looking in the mirror. The age of consent at the time was 17, but Sir Mick cannot face criminal charges as a statute of limitations, blah, blah, blah. Look how much she's protecting him. 70s was a different era. I wasn't a victim. I want him to get in trouble. I wasn't traumatized. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't an innocent schoolgirl. I always acted a lot older than I was. I was a grown-up at 15. Okay, again, this is not against her. This is any girl or any woman who has ever dated an older man, myself included. When I was like 20 or 21, a 40-something-year-old man convinced me to date him when I was all I wanted to do was learn how to climb. Somehow I got pulled into like dating him. It's disgusting. And I judged myself so long for that. Now when I look back, I'm like, oh man, start to see how I was manipulated. The language these men use and how they think, you're so mature. You're not like other girls. Look at this. Look what they did. And mind you, this is a black woman. But when they do this to a black woman, it's even more intentional. That's before meeting Jagger. Ray Dawn had lost her virginity to a boy her own age and had many encounters before him. What difference does that make? Shut up, Daily Mail. She also admits to smoking marijuana since she was 12 and moving out of her family home soon after her 15th birthday to live with a dealer. Y'all know the perfect victim thing? They're saying right here. See, she wasn't a victim. She was like living like a woman. When they include information like this, they're being very intentional. They're trying to normalize. And then we normalize this ourselves. At 15, I was definitely a Lolita. I knew I had the power to pick and choose whatever man I wanted. The only reason that they're not friends now is because she dared to say that his kissing in a video was icky. He has a fragile ego. He hasn't spoken to me since. I mean, that checks out. Carly Simon wrote a whole song about "You're so vain." His seeming inability to be tied down, come on, for too long can be seen as a tribute to the source of his band's name, which they took from Muddy Waters. Rolling Stone gathers no moss, huh? What, are women and children moss? Like, what? This man even has a great-grandchild, and he just had another child. So this was his first kid when he was in his 20s. He had with this beautiful woman, Marsha Hunt. Oh, but shocker, just like Ewan McGregor, she spent much of the 70s, that's a long time, in a legal battle trying to get this dude to financially support his own kid. He had another kid with Bianca, which ended because he had an affair, shocker, with Jerry Hall, supermodel. And they had a Hindu wedding in the 90s, which then proved to not even be legal. What are you doing? You're not, what? That woman gave him 4 children. And that marriage ended because he had an affair with a Brazilian model. Then there comes this woman, who said there was at least 10 other women he was dating when he was with her. He cheated on Hall with another model. Only gave Hall $15 million for all those years with him. He also had a kid with the person he cheated on her with. Then there was this woman who died by suicide. She was the glue that held it all together. If you were called a rock or the glue, you're being exploited by a man. Now he's with her. He met before his fiance took her life. At the age of 73, he has another kid with a 29-year-old. Tamed by her. God, y'all. After 4,000 women, I don't believe that. His appetite for beauties showed little sign of slowing down until he met her. Apparently, they fell in love when she went to go take care of him when his other love ended her life. But Mick will always be Mick. Women have accepted that. The real family man. He's always chosen strong women. Yeah, you have to be strong to put up with this much BS. But Boys will be boys. And of course,